How you guys doing? I'm Brent. Today we're on the range and I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot some of your Killer Innovations products. Alright, so we're going to troubleshoot some of the products that we have here today. We're going to put a link in below that will cut to the slide, the barrel, or the compensator if that's what you're having trouble with. So just go ahead and click on the link below and skip to that. But if you want to stay here for the whole video, the first one we're going to go over is just the slide. So if you just purchased your slide, whether it's a 19, 17, Gen 3, or Gen 4, there's going to be some friction that's going to go on with that weapon system. So right here I have one that all we've done is just took a brand new factory slide and put it on. And as you can see, it doesn't want to go all the way in the battery. So what we're going to do is we're going to lube this up. We use Red and Tacky. You can get it at any automotive store. It's really easy to get. It's really easy to apply. We just pop the top and we're just going to use a Q-tip to get some of that in there. Now that we applied some of the grease, we're going to go ahead and put our slide back on our frame. And then we're just going to work that together. So you can see how already it's going back into battery, as before it wouldn't. The reason why is the coatings that we do on here, whether it be DLC or MDC, it's kind of micro abrasive. So we want to use that grease to just guide it on in there. So I'm going to do this a few times, make sure it's going good. And now I'm going to go ahead and load up some rounds and we're going to go test it. So this is just the barrel, right? So we have just a barrel on an OEM gun and you're having problems with it. So one of the first things I'm going to do is take it apart real quick. And I want you to make sure that it can just slide right in. See how it drops in? If you have to force it in due to having a different slide, whether that be aftermarket or whatever, you might have to do a little bit of gunsmithing, okay? But this is how easy it should just slide in, okay? Now, just like before, we're gonna take some of our Red and Tacky and apply it, and then we're gonna put the gun back together and we're gonna put some rounds through it to try to break in that because of the coating that we're using on those barrels. Let's see how that works out. Now the Killer Innovations compensator. So we're going to troubleshoot this, whether it's failure to lock to the rear, failure to go into battery, all the troubles you're having. You have to break this in just like the other parts. But also you got to make sure you're using some higher quality ammo. You can't be using any of old reloads or it's not going to be able to properly work. We built this compensator to make sure that it can compensate on the higher end of the spectrum and not so much on the lower end of the spectrum, okay? Also, some of the stuff that's built into this is that ratchet tooth design. You're not supposed to hear that. You're supposed to depress that button and work that in. If you start hearing that ratchet, that's built in to start wearing those teeth down so it doesn't mess up your entire compensator. If you have worked those teeth down and it's no longer catching, we do sell replacement kits on our website. Please order one of those. It'll come with replacement screws for the top, bottom, and a reduced ring. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and lock this back and we're going to make sure it's tight. There's no wobble left or right. I'm going to double check my Allen keys to make sure they're tight on both. Make sure you applied a little bit of blue Loctite to them. And it's the same thing that we were doing before. We're going to have to put about 150 to 200 rounds through this to make sure it is fully broken. Let's go put some rounds on the range and make sure this one works for us. Something too, if you're having problems with your slide not locking to the rear, we want you to go ahead and check your magazine to make sure that it is actually locked in. A lot of people have not been locking these in, and it just sits and floats above it and bounces around. So remember, the way it's shaped, bullets are going down range. Did you hear that distinctive click? I'm gonna right the magazine just to make sure I'm going the right way. Slide it in, tip it back upside down, depress, and I'm gonna slide it back on. Then just make sure that it's gonna lock to the rear. So while you're breaking in all your products, whether it be the slide, the barrel, or the compensator, be patient. Remember, you're gonna have malfunctions, you're gonna have failures of feed, you're gonna have stovepiping. Clear those malfunctions, make sure you put the mag back in, send it forward, and keep firing, keep breaking it in. And I promise you, it'll start to go very easy. Always practice good safety measures while on the range, always use your ears, always have eyes, and be safe out there.